I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan Proft here. So earlier this week, when residents in Chicago started receiving their property tax bills, there was some sticker shock, as has been widely reported, and we've discussed, spent a significant time discussing this week. The majority black neighborhoods in Chicago, places like Inglewood, North Lawndale, West Garfield Park, took a hammering. 80%, 100%, 133% average tax increase, property tax increases, respectively, in those neighborhoods. And Richard Townsel, the executive director of the Lawndale Christian Development Corporation, had a sort of Howard Beale moment, and I say that positively. I've tried to instigate many in the direction of property tax revolts over the years. Hosted a little bonfire of the property tax bills in North Lawndale and said this.
My property taxes went up 75.86%. And so
Richard Townsel of North Lawndale has a friend who saw his jump 237%.
My wife and I, we had a budget meeting last week as we were looking at this. You know, does that mean maybe we don't take the vacation we thought we were going to take?
Thank you all for coming.
A frustration that this weekend led to this bill burning, led by the Lawndale Christian Development Corporation, which he is executive director.
It was a Boston Tea Party kind of moment, where it's like taxation without representation. What do we do about this? Not just whine about it.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Richard Townsel, the executive director of the Lawndale Christian Development Corporation. Mr. Townsel, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Thanks for having us on.
So how was the little property tax bill burning party you had received in the neighborhood?
It was a fun moment, cathartic of sorts, because we wanted to do something about it that, you know, have people deal with the anger that they felt. And so we had different testimonials of folks who, one lady, Pam Bell, who's one of our homeowners, her tax bill went from a vacant lot that we developed into a home from $0 to $6,000 was her bill.
And the response you've heard from the city, I'm sure, is that, well, we've, it's the triennial assessment, and we've seen a reduction in property taxes of about $130 million in the downtown business district because of commercial vacancies and thus reductions in assessed valuation of those properties. And now it's being visited upon the neighborhoods, residential neighborhoods. And so they sort of are offering that as a shoulder shrug. There's nothing we can do about it except put together a payment plan where you can pay your property tax bill over the course of the next year.
Yeah, it's infuriating to see neighborhoods that have historically been disinvested, neighborhoods that were kind of the flashpoints for contract buying, redlining. And now that, we have done some work in the neighborhood and others, now we get hit with 100% increases. We should not be bearing the brunt of what's happened downtown in three neighborhoods. And I would dare say I question their data. I wonder if other neighborhoods are experiencing it as well. They've used these three neighborhoods as their justification, I guess, but I'd love to know what all 77 neighborhoods, what's going up, because they're saying there's an average increase of like 16.7% across the city. I'd like to see data on every single neighborhood, because I don't know anyone whose property taxes aren't soaring the way ours is.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to get that sort of transparency from Fritz Kagi in the assessor's office, right? I mean, you have to have the data, so make it publicly accessible.
Yep, for everybody to see it, and then we can. I don't trust Fox holding the alarm code to the hen house. I just don't at all.
Well, have you talked to your alder persons, the fifth floor, the county assessor's office? I mean, who do you want to address and get explanations from?
Well, we've had a couple of discussions with lots of folks. We've talked with our local alder. We've talked with our state rep, our state senator. I think Fritz Kagi, we're planning on him to come out to the neighborhood and talk about it. But like, we are proposing it ourselves. We don't believe citizens in a democracy should wait for politicians to propose something. We're proposing that the state of Illinois, this is not just a North Lawndale problem, it's a state of Illinois problem. We have the highest property taxes in the nation, and we're proposing that we do something sort of what California has done in the 70s with Prop 13, where property taxes are assessed at 1% of your appraised value, not these wild assessments that vary year to year. And then also that your property taxes don't go up more than 2% a year. And of course, that creates other issues. But let's fix this broken property tax system, then address the other issues.
100%. I mean, I like California. I like the Indiana model, too, basically the 1, 2, 3 model on homesteaded, non-homesteaded, and then commercial. But then you have predictability, and you don't get hit with, basically a windfall, the opposite of a windfall, a hurricane bill, right. like you're getting hit with.
That's right. Yeah, that's why we want predictability, we want consistency, and we also want transparency. If I know, in the case of what we're proposing, that my property tax bill, when I sell a home, the new buyer will know their escrow, will be 1% of the appraised value or the sales, value, then that's predictable, as opposed to Pam Bell getting her tax bill after the fact, not knowing what it was going to be, escrowing, and then having to double and triple what's in her escrow because she thought it was going to be a couple $1,000s, and it ended up being $6,000.
Well, right. And as you understand, being a developer too, and I think more and more people are understanding, particularly when they go to sell their homes, what these exorbitant property taxes do to destroy home equity and thus destroy the return on investment.
That's absolutely right. And so our goal is to try to have transparency. We know up front, predictability. We know how much it's going to increase, and fairness. I mean, across the board, everyone knows that this is what it's going to be. I might not like my tax bill, but I can see how it got calculated.
And so, what have your state legislators said? Because, the problem here is that you have one party control of the city and the state, and that party is not in. I mean, there's some talk about temporary relief from time to time, but as you rightly point out, it's a structural problem, and they aren't really interested in a structural solution because they have, government unions like the teachers' unions to serve, and they're not going to be interested in hard caps on property taxes because they'll be concerned about how schools and salaries and pensions get funded. So how do you think about the coalition that you need to build to try to advance this idea?
Well, it'll have to be statewide. It'll have to be city and suburbs. It'll have to be downstate, as well as we've had a discussion with BOMA Chicago. They're the Building Owners and Managers Association. They believe in something like this as well. We haven't really, negotiated out what it'll all look like, but they want property tax relief as well. And so when we pit downtown against the neighborhoods, I always say when you pit rich people against poor people always lose, right? And so how do we figure out a system that works for both? And so they're going to have to be at the table in any solution that we craft.
Who's the they?
BOMA, downtown.
Oh, yeah. Well, sure. I mean, but that they is not a big enough they. Right? I mean, that they is not as big as the government unions. That they is not as big as the governor and the mayor and and the Cook County Board president and all of those politicians, if I may hazard to say, who, basically are underwritten, backed, loyal to the government unions that are going to be opposed to this.
Well, which is why we got to take that day is not bigger than the citizens, right?
Yeah.
So we've got to organize. I think that, we're looking at trying to put together more data so that we can push this narrative of how do we change it, because, our folks are sick and tired of, every 3 years we go through this dance again. And so people are going to be priced out of their homes. And so let's use this anger to do something productive and move towards something that will benefit, our state.
And you guys are ready to take on the institutional interests that are going to be opposed to this and take, whoever will stand with you?
I think we'll be part of the solution. I think there are going to be lots of entities that are that hopefully will come to the table. But it's going to be, as you suggested, it's going to be the fight of a lifetime. It's not a simple battle, because there are lots of interests, property tax appeal lawyers and the like that benefit from this system.
Richard Townsel, Executive Director of the Lawndale Christian Development Corporation. Well, Richard, appreciate that, and appreciate you joining us and what you're undertaking, and please stay in touch, because I certainly want to encourage it.
We'd love to stay in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Richard Townsel joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
Why wait for Black Friday when you can save every day? Hassleless mattress